We're spending 22 minutes today with Chazz Palminteri, sponsored by A Bronx Tale on Broadway. On Broadway.
Yes.
Oh, exciting. Starting next month.
Starting next month, the musical on Broadway. Yeah, we start previewing at the Long Acre Theater on 48th Street on November 3rd, and we open December 1st.
I want to talk all about the Broadway production, but it's such an interesting story, how the story came to be. So you were the struggling actor back in the 80s, and you didn't like the parts you were getting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was getting, I did get on Hill Street Blues and a bunch of shows and, paid the rent and everything. But I said, hey, I'm more than this. I want to do other things, So I said, well, I ran out of money at the time. This was 1988. And I ran out of money after making the money from those shows. And I said, well, do I go back to New York? And then I said, well, no, I want to give it I said, I'm going to do it here, So then I took a job as a doorman at a nightclub because I used to box. So I said, all right, I'll see what I could do. I took a job as a doorman at a really swanky club. And I was really very good. I was talking to people, It helped, for me to supplement my income, to live, And then finally, I didn't let this guy in one night, and because he was really rude to me, and he was really, really just rude. And I said, I'm sorry. He says, do you know who I am? And I said, yeah, you're the guy who's not getting in tonight. So he got really mad at that, and he said to me, you will be fired in 15 minutes. I said, yeah, sure, okay. And it was Swifty Lazar. And Swifty Lazar was the biggest agent in the world at the time, the most powerful agent in the world. I didn't know that. And 15 minutes later, I got fired, just like he said. And I was driving home in my little dumpy car, got back to my dumpy apartment, and I sat on the edge of the bed, and I saw the card that my father always said to me, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And I had it on my refrigerator. And I said, well, you know what? If they won't give me a great part, I'll write one myself. And so I went to the theater. I was in the theater. I always did theater, and I went to the theater company, and I said, I'm going to perform something tonight. And I wrote about. I wrote first. I got 5 tabs of yellow paper, and I wrote a 5-minute thing about this killing that I saw when I was 9 years old, and I performed it for my theater company, and they were all like, stunned. And I said, wow, this thing could be pretty good. So each week, Bridget, I would write 10 minutes and put another 5 in, keep 3, edit 4. And at the end of about 10 months, I had a 90-minute, one-person show where I had like a movie on stage where I played all the parts.
What, like 18 parts?
18 parts.
Crazy.
I played I worked on it for almost a year. Yeah. And I said, okay. And then I got some money, borrowed some money from my friend, gave me some money. And I put the show on, and bam! The reviews were amazing. I won all these awards. It was like crazy. And it became the hottest property in the world since Rocky. There was Rocky, then 20 years later, Bronx Tale. And everybody wanted it, every actor, writer, producer, director, studio head. But they didn't want me. They wanted to put a star in the role. They said,
similar to Stallone's story, right?
Exactly, Stallone. So they said, look, you're wonderful, you're great, blah, 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 but you're nobody. Nobody knows who you are. I said, well, maybe, but I own the script because I wrote it. And they said, well, so they offered me $250,000. I had $200 in the bank. Oh, my gosh. I said, I want to play Sonny, and I want to write the screenplay. They said, not a chance in the world. I said, well, I'm not doing it. They said, well, then forget it. Hang the phone up. I said, okay. I went back doing the show. Crowds kept getting bigger. We had to move into a bigger theater. That's how big the crowds were. Right. Finally, they offered me $500,000. $200 in the bank. I said, I play Sonny, I write the screenplay. No. Okay. Went back. Started doing it again. 3 weeks later, another studio came in, $1 million. Oh. It was like a piece of paper like this. Yeah. He held this piece of paper and he said, Chazz, you signed that paper? That's how he did it to me. He goes,
and how much money did you have in the bank then?
Like, a couple $100. I kept going back and forth. Yeah. I was living hand to mouth. He said, sign that paper, you have a check for $1 million tomorrow. I said, is there a bathroom around here? He says, yeah. He said, the executive bathroom's right there. I get up, there was like 12 people sitting on the table. I get up, I walk into the bathroom, I shut the door. I'm looking in the mirror. I turn on the faucet, I wipe my hands. wipe my face. I'm looking in the mirror. I put my hand in my pocket, and I had my father's card. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. I take it out. I look at it. Can I curse? I can't curse. No.
They can bleep you.
No, they can't bleep me. Okay, they can bleep me? Okay, I look at the thing, and I say, I'm not doing it. Put the thing back in my pocket. I walk back outside. I sat down at the thing, and I said, I'll sign that paper right now. I could see them all with a little smirk on their faces. And I says, but I play Sonny and I write the screenplay. And the guy just put his head down like this. He said, that'll never happen, Chazz. You're wonderful, but you're nobody. I'm sorry to say that. And I said, okay, well, I stood up, I said, I guess the meeting's over. And he said, you realize this movie will never get made. And I said, you're right, it won't, with you, but it'll get made. And he said, why is that? I said, because it's just too effing good. And he said, I wish you luck. And I said, goodbye. And went back to doing the show. And I got off, about 2 weeks later, I got off after doing the show to a packed house. And the stage manager said, Robert De Niro's in your dressing room. I said, Bob De Niro's in my dressing room? He said, yeah. He just saw the show. I said, okay. I went down there, and there was Bob De Niro sitting in my dressing room. And he goes, wow, he says, that was like the greatest one-man show I ever saw. He goes, what a great show that was. That was a great show. He goes, you did a movie on stage. I said, yeah, Bob, I know. He goes, I said, Bob, I know you're here because I know you want it, but I have to play Sonny and I got to write the screenplay. He goes, I know. He goes, let me tell you something, how I feel. He goes, you should play Sonny. You'll be great as Sonny. And you should write the screenplay because it's about your life and it'll be honest. He goes, I'll play your father. I'll direct it. And if you shake my hand right now, we'll go partners, and that's the way it'll be. I shook his hand, and that's the way it was.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, and it was such an awesome movie. There's so many themes there. You know, one of the things about the wasted talent.
Yeah.
And the characters were so great because they weren't, they were three-dimensional. It wasn't like Sonny was all bad and the father was all good.
Yeah,
it was
very smart. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. That's what made us, see, it all stems from the killing that I saw. I was 9 years old sitting on my stoop, and I saw these guys. I thought they were fighting over a parking space, and I said, I was just kind of staring at them. And the next minute, one guy got out with a baseball bat, smashed the window. The guy in the back was bleeding. Then the guy got out. His face was covered. The guy was about to hit him again, and he came over. Bam, bam. And I was like, and then he kind of stopped, and he just kind of turned and stared at me, and I stared at him. And the next minute I knew, boom, my father dragged me upstairs. And that's how this whole thing started. Yeah. And then the next couple of days, I would see this guy, and he would see me, and he would look at me like, I know you know that I know that you know. And that's how it started. Then I became friends with them, and I started throwing the dice for them. And then I had a relationship with a black girl, and it's about my first 18 years of growing up, which is pretty exciting. And
that theme about C, or Calogoro's relationship with Jane.
With Jane.
That's so timely now.
It's probably more timely now than well, 68 was pretty timely, I don't know, but it's just as timely, let's put it that way. You know, but you're absolutely right. It's not about black and white. The thing that makes the story so interesting, I think, and why people gravitate to it, is because Sonny was bad. He was a bad guy, but he was a good guy in a lot of ways. My father, who was the hero of my life, he had some things that he had to work on. So it's not like black and white, it was gray and gray, and the little boy in the middle took the best of the father, the best of Sonny, and became a man.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the Broadway production. Yeah. And I've heard you say before that the story, it's really a fable.
It's a fable.
In a sense.
Yeah.
And you were watching, this is hard to picture, you were watching Disney movies. And you got the idea for Alan Menken to come in.
Well, all my life I watched it because I have children. Right. So they watched Alan Menken. I said, my God, these songs are so incredible. You know, this guy is like a genius, you know. Yeah. And then I directed a movie in 2004, and I needed music for it, and I went to Alan Menken, and he loved the movie, and he said, yes. And I said, oh, my God, and that's how I got to meet him. And I got to meet him, and he wrote a song, him and Steven Schwartz, for my movie, and it was wonderful. And I just thought he was just so talented. Then I when this happened, I went, actually, Tommy Mottola, 5 years ago, said, look, we got to make this a musical. It's a great, great story. And he was the champion who put the movie on his back and really made it happen. And so I said, look, Alan Menken is the guy. I said, this is a fable, and Alan Menken's, and I said, I work with him already, and we met with Alan Menken, and he loved the story, and wow.
And De Niro's directing now.
Yeah.
He directed the movie. Is this his first directing project of a Broadway musical?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. But you know, Bridget, it's so great because I have the best of both worlds. I have the guy who directed the movie, who made a brilliant movie, and I have the guy who directed the one-man show on Broadway, who just did an incredible job. So I have the best of both worlds, and you know, it was good to have Jerry too, because Jerry obviously won 4 Tonys.
Sure.
Directed 40 musicals. Bob never directed a musical, but Bob is a very brilliant, you know, artiste. So putting them both together, I had the best of both worlds.
What is he like as a director?
Oh, De Niro?
Yeah.
He's really specific, you know. He's very, very, you know, he'll go, you know, I can, you know, he'll just say, you know, bring it down. Yes. He'll always say, bring that down. He likes to bring things down. Doesn't want anything too big. So, but there's the rub, because in musicals, you have to be big. You have to be a little bigger for the row in the back. So it's finding that balance. But Bob is always about the truth. It has to be honest in everything. Clothes, hair. Like if you have sideburns and they didn't have sideburns in the neighborhood, your sideburns are going, cut. And your hair's got to be perfect and the clothes have to be perfect. He's real specific about everything. And Jerry is like Jerry Zaks, from doing all these musicals, he knows the ins and outs of sets going in and out and timing and people and staging. And Sergio, we have Sergio Triolo, who got nominated for a Tony for The Last Dance for you know, that wonderful piece he has on Broadway now. And Sergio is brilliant. He's a brilliant choreographer. I mean, I have Alan Menken, Glenn Slater, nominated 3 times for lyrics, wrote the lyrics. I mean, Bob De Niro, Jerry Zaks, Tommy Mottola. You know, we have a great team.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, too. I want to get his name right. Was it Nick Cordero playing?
Nick Cordero.
Now, he played, is it true, he played Cheech in Bullets?
Yes. I got nominated for an Oscar for the movie. He got nominated for a Tony on the Broadway show.
And now he's playing Sonny.
And now he's playing Sonny. I'm telling you, when you know, I never wanted to be in the show. I thought about it in the very beginning. And then I said, you know, I want this to be a new incarnation. I want it to be something new. They saw me do the one-man show. They saw me do the movie. I wrote the book. I said, you know what? I just want to write the book for this. I don't want to be in it. Because I wanted it to be new. You know, younger people, you know, it's just better. It'd be better. I just felt it in my heart. And I'm glad I did. Because once we found Nick Cordero, I saw him in Bullets, I was like, oh my God, that's Sonny. I said, that's Sonny, he's great. And he really is great. And Richard Blake is playing Lorenzo, you know.
He's from Jersey Boys?
Richard Blake was in Jersey Boys,
all
yes.
right.
You know your homework. Yeah, Richard Blake was in Jersey Boys, you know, and Lucia Gianna, I hope I pronounced the last name, she was in Les Mis. And we have Jane, who was in Hamilton. Right. We took her out of Hamilton. We have such an incredible cast. And Bobby Conte Thornton, obviously, is playing C, the lead role. So we have a great, great cast of great actors.
Did you have a role in picking?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you saw Nick, you said, okay, he could be...
Oh my God, yeah. When I saw him do Cheech on Broadway, I said, this guy's great. Yeah. He really is true. You know what? It's one of those rare things, you know. Sometimes you get people who are great actors, they could sing, Sometimes you get the great singers, they could act, Nick could do it all.
Could you have sung it? You sang.
Yeah, I was
sang
a singer,
bit,
yeah.
Right? Did you sing the doo-wop on the...
Yeah, no, I was a singer.
Back in the Bronx?
I started out as a singer. Yeah, in bands and everything. But I just knew it was not... I shouldn't be in it. I wanted it to be new. You know, I didn't want them to say, well, he was in the movie. No, well, he's in the one-man show. Now he's in the musical. Come on, that's enough.
Enough for him.
That's enough. Sometimes you got to put your ego aside. I'm a writer, too. People don't know. I mean, I've written a lot of movies, so I go, I just want to be the writer in this one, you know? Right.
When Woody Allen cast you in Bullets Over, that's like my favorite Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
Did he know your story as a writer, or was he just like, oh, I like that actor Chazz Palminteri?
Well, actually, he didn't really know me at all because Bronx Tale didn't come out yet. Don't forget, Bronx Tale was my first big movie.
That's when you
when I
came on the
busted up.
scene,
But
yeah,
we
yeah.
were editing it, Bronx Tale at the time. So, but Julia Taylor knew me from other things, and she brought me in. She said, Woody, you got to see this guy. And I went in, and it was like a room just like this, in fact. And there was a light, and he was all the way in the back where you couldn't see him. And I read, and he said, I heard, thank you. I went, well, okay. I walked out, and I went, well, that didn't go too well. I thought it went well, but, you know. And then my agent called me and said, Woody wants to see you again. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, it's a great part. I go, it's about a guy who grew up in the street as a writer. I go, it's me. So I went back, and Woody came over to me. He was very nice, and he goes, you know, Chazz, it's really great. It's great. Could you do it again? And I said, well, yeah, that's why I'm here. He says, all right. And I did it. Thank you. I said, okay. And I left. And by the time I walked out, I got into the car, my agent called and said, loves you, you got the part. I was like, wow, okay. And it was great.
What was it like working with him after that? Is he like that? Doesn't say a lot during the
Never says
filming
anything.
of a movie?
In fact, with Woody, if he talks to you, that's not a good thing. That means you're probably going to get fired. He just leaves, because I would say, Woody, you know, because he never talked. I was not used to a director who just never talked to you. So I said, one time he was next to me, and I said, Woody, is everything all right? You liking everything? He goes, just do what you want. Just go. Just, Chazz, please, go. I love what you're doing. So I said, oh, well, okay. In fact, he only talked to us once. And me and John Cusack, you know the scene, we're sitting by the bar, and we're both talking to each other. It's a very long scene. It's on the camera, you know. With Woody, you really have to know your dialogue, because it's straight scenes, and the camera moves, and it's like a 7-minute scene, him and I talking. And I say, yeah, I stabbed this guy in the joint, yeah, boom, boom, boom. It's a really funny scene. So he comes over to us just before we start, and he goes, wait, I want to talk to you. And we're like, me and John are looking at each other like, uh-oh. What was he going to say? So he walks over and says, it's a very long scene. The Knicks are on at 8. Speed it up. Speed it up. That's what he said. He said, just speed it up. He goes, I want to catch the Knicks at 8 o'clock. We were like, did he just say that? But you know what? It was a good note, because he just meant it's a very long scene. Make sure you pick up your cues and do it. So it was actually good direction.
Yeah. And got you the Oscar nomination.
Yes. Yeah.
When you get an Oscar nomination, you know, they say that like for forever and ever you're going to be Oscar nominee, Chazz Palminteri. Does it change your life?
It does. It changes your life in one aspect. In the business, they just look at you and say, wow, you know, people know who you are, and they could use it for press. Does it change your life like, oh my God, my life is going to be different now? No. It changes your life as an accomplishment, but it's not a magical thing that happens to you. No.
Right.
No. I mean, I know actors who have 2 or 3 of them, and they have them in the drawer or on the side, and he has to do the same thing that I do. Wake up in the morning, put one pant leg at a time. So I don't think it changes your life like that. It changes your life as far as advertising. They could use it, and your peers get to know who you are right away. Oh, wow, yeah. The world gets to know who you are. Yes. Oh, he was nominated. I saw him at that. Yeah, okay. But, you know, that's about it.
Yeah. 50 movies or something to your
55
credit.
movies,
And a bunch of TV roles, Modern Family
Yeah.
recently. Are you writing something else now?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Not really. Well, a little bit. I'm writing another, I've written a pilot that I just completed with my partner, Kenny DeQuilla, who I wrote that with him. And we'll see. We're going to sell it now and see what happens.
A TV pilot.
For television pilot, yeah.
Okay.
It's called Unorganized Crime. Very funny. Unorganized crime thing. And I also written another play called The Bench, and which I am in, which only 2 people. We'll see what happens with that.
Okay. In the meantime, you're running a restaurant and you're selling vodka.
I'm running a restaurant, and listen to this. My restaurant, folks, is on 48th Street. Where is the theater? 48th Street. Am I the luckiest man in the world? I am the luckiest.
Coincidence. Wow.
No, but it's on. So when you come out of the theater, you make a left. So from the west side, you just walk. It's the 2nd Avenue. Chazz Palminteri's Restaurant Italiano. We have one of the great restaurants in Manhattan. Italian food plus steaks, chops. So a lot of people are making their reservations now for my restaurant, then going to see the show.
That's
or
perfect.
seeing the show after the restaurant.
And do they drink your vodka when they're in the
When
restaurant?
they come in, I have my BV vodka.
And do they share the olives? Can you tell that story?
Oh, sure. I can tell you that story. People go, what's this olive story, you know? So I go, well, I need it because I have my own vodka now, made from Messina, Sicily, my hometown where my mother was from. It's really great vodka. You know, the reviews on it have been amazing. But the olive story, okay. The olive story was, I got to know Frank Sinatra really well. And for about, 10 years, we were friends at the end. And so I was at his house once. We were out in Malibu, and everybody was there, all these people, stars, and everybody walked inside. And it was just him and I. And Frank Sinatra was the only star that I could never get over who he was. Now, I work with everybody. All Pacino, De Niro, Nicholson, I know everybody. But Frank, every time I was with him, I would always go, it's Frank Sinatra. I couldn't get over it. I mean, it's hard to get.
I believe it.
I would look at him and go, it's Frank. Who is this guy that looks like Frank Sinatra? It's Frank Sinatra. So then finally we're talking, him and I, and he goes, he's got a martini, and I have a Perrier. And he goes, you don't drink. I said, Frank, I really don't drink. He goes, that's really good, you know. And we're talking. He goes, I love your movie, Bronx Tale. It's a great movie. You know why it was a great movie? I could tell you why it was a great movie. I said, why, Frank? He goes, because I didn't effing fall asleep. And I went, okay, you know. And he goes, no, I really love that movie. He goes, you know, I knew those guys. I said, I'm sure you did. So he says, we're talking, we're having a great time. And he has a martini, and he goes, takes the toothpick, and there's 2 olives on the toothpick, and he goes, Chazz, share my olive. And I said, what? He said, share my olive. Come on, share my olive. I said, all right. So I took the olive off, and he goes, you ready? I said, yeah. He goes, I popped the olive, and he took his olive. And then he hugged me. He says, I love you. He says, you're a really good kid. He called me kid. And he goes, let's go back inside. So we went back inside. So I'm standing there. I'm going, what the heck was that all about? You know? And I'm telling this story to a bunch of the people that were there. They were, you know, so there's De Niro was there, and I think Don Rickles and Stephen Eating. There's a lot of people there. I don't want to drop names, but
oh, please do.
And I said, yeah, Frank did this thing with the olive. I said, what was that? And all of a sudden I hear behind me a voice go, Frank shared an olive with you. And I turn around, and it's Gregory Peck. Now, Gregory Peck, the great actor, and Frank were best friends. A lot of people don't realize that. So Gregory Peck comes over. I said, yeah. Now, listen to me. I woke up. I said, hey, Gregory, what's that about? So he goes, that was a Rat Pack tradition, Chazz. He goes, they would drink martinis at the end of the night, him, Sammy, and Dino, and Joey, and Peter, and then they would all share their olives. He goes, it was a Rat Pack tradition. It means a sign of great friendship. And I was like, wow. That's it.
Wow.
That is it. I'm with Frank. You know, so I was pretty blown away by it. And I told the story on when I did Letterman and Leno, and they have it in this book. There's this book called The Way You Wear Your Hat, and it's in this famous book with Frank Sinatra about life and about the story about me and him. But it's like, you know, come on, it's a dream. You know, I still can't get over it that it happened. You know, and I really knew him, and I had dinner with him, and I had dinner with him a lot, and went to his house, and went to I don't know.
I got to ask you one last question.
Sure.
The car door test.
Yes.
Did you give that to your son?
Absolutely. I told my son, it's a little difficult now because of the electric lights,
I know.
the doors. But I tell him, at least the girl's got to try to open the door for you, something. Okay. I said, because for those of you who don't know about this, it's what Bridget is talking about is when you get into a car back when I was from, if the girl, once you open the door for her to get in, it was a test. You shut the door and you walk around the back of the car. If she doesn't reach over, lift up the button for you, that means dump her. because she's a selfish broad, and all you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. You better dump her. You better dump her fast. Now, there's a caveat to that. If it's raining, and you open the door for her, and she doesn't open the door for you, and it's raining, run. Don't even get in the car. Don't even get in the car. Just run. Just run. So, but the test, if I tell you how many people I meet that walk down the block and say to me, hey, Chazz, I love your movies. Hey, my wife, she passed the door test. I hear that all the time.
I believe. Well, one of the many, many great things about A Bronx Tale, which is coming to Broadway.
Yes.
And I should say this 22 Minutes sponsored by A Bronx Tale on Broadway. And Chazz, what a pleasure to have you here. I have another 22 minutes of questions for you. I hate to end it.
I could do 22 hours.
I have a feeling anybody who can do a one-man show with 18 voices can do anything.
So I just want to tell people, my restaurant, 890 2nd Avenue.
Okay.
40, right between 48th and 49th, and the Long Acre Theater, December 1st, opening night, starts previewing November 3rd. And tickets are going fast.
I bet they are. And share those martini olives, right, when you're at the restaurant.
We'll share an olive together someday.
Such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.